Dear National Football League and Commissioner Roger Goodell, I think and I personally believe that the season is going to be at risk because of the COVID 19. But this is why I believe the season is at risk because the NFL players will not be bubbled up. The NFL is comprised of 32 teams. You have the ability to have 32 bubbles. The players will live in their bubble. When you hop on an airplane, you're hopping on the team's airplane. And when you reach your destination city, you'll hop on the team bus. But it will be the bus of the team that you're going to play. Each stadium is a bubble. Each player must test negative for the COVID to even enter the bubble. These bubbles will be consisted of the same materials. The players can stay in the suites unless you plan on renting the suites out to high-end, fans who can come watch the game when the regular people can't. You will have fans in the stands, but they'll be in the suites. I say don't have any fans. Let the players live in the suites. The rookies double up, whatnot. If each player stays in their stadium, lives in their stadium, when they leave their bubble, they get on their own plane, which is cleaned by the same solvents used in every stadium. Every bus will be cleaned by the same different disinfectants. Everything will be the same in each bubble. That's the way I think it'll work. If you go the way of the National Baseball League, players going home and stopping off to get something to eat on the way home, swinging by a friend's house to talk about it after the game, or even having a good time after the game, that has opportunity for infection to seep into your bubbles. But if the players themselves live in the stadiums in which they plan on playing in on Sundays, there shouldn't be any problem. You hop on your plane, you get to where you're going, you get on their bus, you go straight to the stadium, you go to your side of the bubble or whatnot. That Sunday morning, which probably be the next day, you play football. Then you leave the bubble, go back to your bubble. When someone comes in, they do the same thing. It's not, I'm floating to the house because the game's not starting for a few hours. And stop by, grab some gas, run into the convenience store, run back in, to the stadium, and next thing you know, you've got everybody sick. It's not going to happen if they live inside the bubble. So, NFL, it's just the same as going to Florida or finding some place where they got a whole bunch of football fields and play. You play at home with no fans. The players stay in the stadium. The only thing that would be subject is the TV crews, but you wouldn't need all those people because cameras are mounted throughout the stadium. You can pretty much film the whole thing from your place in New York or wherever. The moral of the story is if you really want to keep your players safe, you have to bubble up. There's 32 bubbles in the NFL if you look at it. You clean each stadium with the same solvents. Everything the same across the board. Like I said, each team has an airplane, hopefully. I don't know. I don't own a team. What I'm trying to say is this. I can easily see the NFL starting a season and then regretting the fact that the season will turn into a tournament. They'll go from playing a season to the team's left, let's just have a tournament and get a champion. It's worse than a strike season if you do this wrong. You can end up like baseball and lose teams. But each bubble you have will be maintained exactly the same. I don't know how many suites are in each stadium, but the one up in Santa Clara has a lot of suites. If your stadium has more than 70 suites, you're telling me that you can't create a mini city in a stadium? There are some players who like to cook. You know how many kitchens are in a stadium? There's some players that like to play video games. Do you know how it would feel to play on the Jumbotron in a stadium? A lot of guys like chipping the golf balls. You know it's Monday through Friday. You can chip out there. You don't have to take no divots out of the damn, field. It's a million things these guys can do during the course of a season in a stadium. There's arcades, there's weight rooms. There's camaraderie that would build in a way that has never been seen in this sport. If you look back a few years ago, there was a player named, I'm not going to say his name, but he had a problem with his quarterback. Can you imagine the camaraderie they would have had in a bubble? Going out catching the ball at 10:30 at night when the lights are on, while the other guys are over there, playing the Jumbotron, Madden. Think about it. Before the season starts, think about it. Say you have two teams relatively close. Maybe they could share a bubble. I don't know. Maybe that Chargers team that's playing in a soccer stadium, maybe they would have to share a bubble. I don't know. The Raiders, my beloved team, which I was going to take the year off of, they have a brand new bubble. So what I'm trying to say for the last 7 minutes, 8 minutes now, is that I would sure hate to see week 1 in the NFL go down, and then 4 weeks later, week 2. And then 4 weeks later, week 3. Makes sense? Bubble up, NFL. Bubble up. Because you haven't had a chance to fail yet. You have the opportunity to do something that no other league has done. You have 32 bubbles. You can do it if the players are willing to stay in the stadium in which they play in. And your, training facilities, in some cases, they're miles away from the stadium. Those are also mini bubbles. If all of your facilities are cleaned with the exact same disinfectant, have the exact same protocols in each facility, no regular people in or out the bubble. You telling me these grown men can't cook for themselves? You'll have to hire chefs or people to live in the bubble. Do what you got to do. But don't start a season that does not have the chance to finish. Don't put yourself out like that. Now, the XFL is filing for bankruptcy. Now, why? They could have bubbled up and been an example, but they didn't. the unknowing shut them down. You know what hockey, NBA, soccer, you know what they're doing works. And like every old cliche, the ball's in your court. Bubble up, NFL.